Hi!
You take care.
Welcome back to Book Tea and Biscuits for our August reads and what we read in August. We've got one book each, I think. Actually, I've got 1.5 because one I stopped halfway through, and I'll go through that as we go along. And then Joe's got one book as well, and then we'll just explain why we've had quite a low month for our reading this month. Do you want me to go first, or?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I'll just go through the books I should have read, and I'll go through the books of what I did read. So the ones I should have read: Doctor Who, written by Alex Kingston, who played River Song, and this book is The Ruby's Curse. I also should have read The Star and the Strange Moon by Constance Sayers, and I didn't need to read, but I did read 10 Seconds by Robert Gould. The one I've read fully was this one. The one I should have read, picked up, read 15 chapters of and didn't like it was this one. And I've been dying to read this one for months.
I think you were disappointed.
Yeah, because I really like Doctor Who, especially these series where she's playing River Song when it's David Tennant and Matt Smith. And I like Cleopatra as well, and that's what the Ruby's Curse was about. Somebody had found Cleopatra's ruby and it was cursed, and if you had it in your possession it would make you do weird things. But it's because I didn't finish it after chapter 15, I think, because Alex Kingston is a real person. She plays River Song in Doctor Who. She's written the book, but she's written it as Melody Malone, who is an author in the book. And Melody Malone is writing about River Song, who's playing 4 different parts. Yeah. So it's a bit convoluted and a bit confusing to read, because it kept flashing back as well. And not just like chapter 1 would be about River Song, chapter 2 would be about Melody Malone. It would start with like Melody Malone writing the book about the Ruby's Curse, and then would say, well, River Song's gone through the time vortex and she's ended up in this prison. And it was like flashbacks within the chapters. Okay. And I'm like, it's so convoluted. I was losing track, and I was like wandering off and doing other things. And I'm like, I can't finish reading it. But I shouldn't do what I promised I would. So what I did, I went off the reviews that other people had read, have written, and I shouldn't do that, because again we all have to make up our own mind. But when it's 4 and 5 stars on Goodreads and I'm like,
yeah, but you've done that before,
and
you've not liked it, or you've watched them and you've said, oh, they're only 1 or 2, it's rubbish, and then you've read it and found out that it's really good. So I never do that.
So even the blurb gets me. It goes, among the grave goods was found a ruby of great size, referred to as the Eye of Horus. No sooner was this jewel plucked from its setting than there came a cry from the entrance to the tomb. So Cleopatra's tomb never been found, they don't know where it is. Within that tomb was this curse, but somebody's obviously found the tomb, got the ruby, got the Eye of Horus, which makes people do with it as they please.
Can I just say?
No, I mean in the book it's
I know. Can I just say?
Yeah, exactly. It's so boring. So from what I read of it, 1.5 stars, because I actually like Doctor Who.
Oh, what a
but
shame.
he wasn't about him.
No.
And I'm like,
it's just like the Doctor Who character. That's why it's Doctor Who.
1939 New York, private eye Melody Malone is hired to find a stolen ruby, the Eye of Horus. The ruby might hold the secret to the location of Cleopatra's tomb, but everyone who comes into contact with it dies. Can Melody escape the ruby's curse? 1939 New York, River Song, who's a character
I saw the David
in the
Tennant
book as
series.
well, in the book that Melody Malone's writing.
Yeah.
River Song is the author of Melody Malone stories. River Song, author of the Melody Malone mysteries, is forced to find a reality-altering weapon, the Eye of Horus, but everyone who comes into contact with it dies. River doesn't believe in curses, but is she wrong? From the top security confines of Stormcage to the barbarism of 1st century Egypt, River battles to find the Eye of Horus before its powers are used to transform the universe. To succeed, she must team up with a most unlikely ally, her own fictional alter ego Melody Malone, and together they must solve another mystery. Is fiction changing into fact, or is fact changing into fiction?
It sounds like it's a book within a book within a book.
Yeah, and characters playing characters within the book. And I was just so confused. Like, I didn't even get to the part where she teamed up with Melody Malone.
With herself, really.
Yeah, and going through the time vortex and stuff. She went through one time vortex where she ended up as a voluntary prisoner trying to get information from another prisoner. So that prisoner thought that she was in there doing a crime, doing time for a crime that she committed when she wasn't. She's just time travelling.
Okay.
And like, it's so confusing. 1.5 stars. I didn't even get to finish that one.
I'll do this one.
Okay.
My 2 books was the Step into a City of Enchantment, Desire and Magic by
Shannon Chakraborty.
yeah, I can't see the name.
It's called The City of Brass.
Yeah,
It's an art copy.
I didn't read this at all.
Not because
I didn't
you didn't
start.
like it, though,
I didn't even know. I read the blurb on it. I wasn't sure about it, and I'll tell you the reason why in a minute. So I didn't start that at all. The book I did read, Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, I know. Now this is part of a series of books. Well, actually, 3 books, I think. I think this is the second one. It's okay. It's a sci-fi thing. Basically, it's about a group of people who decide to pull off some crime or other. But instead of having loyalty and honesty amongst thieves, they're very disloyal, and they're sort of out to get each other. It starts off, I mean, I've got to admit, the graphic is, the plans are very good, the plan of it.
The maps and stuff.
Yeah, they're quite good. And they're in several different parts, part 1, part 2, part 3 and all that. And this part 1 is called Forsaken, and it's about one particular person. But after that chapter, you then go into the other chapters and you don't really know about that person.
Yeah.
And the thing I don't like about this book is, in order to be able to pronounce the names,
It's a lot of fantasy does that and sci-fi.
there is, but some of them, they're very easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
But you've got a glossary. So every time you come across a name and you think, oh, that's a simple name to say, you have a look at the glossary and it's not a simple name to say. How would you pronounce this name?
Which one?
That name. How would you pronounce it?
Retbenko.
Would you?
Local Russian, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you really?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. It's going to be like Albert or something, isn't it?
Right, okay. I've lost you.
Doesn't it go in alphabetical order?
Yeah, it does, but this is a cast of characters. That's what I'm looking at. That's it. Now, this is how you pronounce his name.
Redben. There's no G in there.
Yeah, yes, well, see what I mean? That's Retvenko is pronounced Redvengo. Obviously. And you've got all sorts of weird names, and you're shown how to pronounce them. I cannot stand that, because you're trying to read, and every time you come across a name and you look at the glossary, admittedly in the glossary it sort of tells you this person is this kind of person, he's from this area of the world or wherever. It then tells you how to pronounce the name. So every time you come across a name in the book, you've got to look at the glossary.
So it's distracting you, isn't it?
It does distract you, and that's why I've really marked it down, because it's very annoying.
Yeah.
When it's a big, it's a tome. This is a tome, and there's what I like. I mean, the chapters are numbered, chapter 1, but it's given the name of, even though there's other people involved. it's focused on that one
So
person's
the protagonist
involvement.
is in that
Yeah,
chapter.
in that particular chapter. Now, from what I can gather, Waylon is disguised. He seems to be magical. He's able to disguise himself as a different race, because the race he really is been at war, and there's people looking for these natives, these people from a specific race that, you know, they've been at war, and they're out to get them. And Waylon has to, but he can't speak the language of the race that he's pretending to be, which is a bit of a problem when where he is they speak that language. So he sort of, you know, has to play down himself, and they're planning to rip somebody off, but they've got to keep him at the gambling den. So they've asked this woman who's part of the gang, and she's got to sort of almost sell herself, you know, flirt with him and make him want to stay, and to the point that one of the members of the gambling den knows that his guns are high price, and this guy that they've got to keep in the playing is after his guns. So he gives his gun up and says, I'll bet you my guns, you know, just to keep him in the place so they can go to his home and rob it. They know the number of his safe, they know where everything is, and the idea is to keep him there, and then they escape. So it's quite involved.
Yeah.
I do like the way it's written. She does write a good
She's
book.
meant to be a good author.
She
anyway.
does write a good book, and one or two, I mean, it is on Netflix as I understand it, and one or two bits in it you sort of can smile, you know, one or two funny bits, but it's quite involved.
The first book to that is actually in that bag down there.
Right, but yes, you know what I'm like. I do not like reading books in order.
No.
I don't know why. I never have done. I've sort of picked up a book and read it.
Yeah, I'll read that.
And then, yeah, I'll go, I'll read that. And during that book, they might mention something that happened in a previous book, and I think, oh, and it's like going back. It's like, it doesn't ruin it. You can read it and then think, oh, I'll find out what made that happen. So you then read that. But some books, you need to read the first book in order to, because I don't understand how they got this far.
Yeah.
Or why.
Yeah.
Mind you, there is some action, blowing up and stuff like that. I mean, this guy, he's supposed to be able to tell when regarding storms and that are coming. So his job is being on board a ship. So he's able to get it through the storms because he has this power. And they're after him as well.
Yeah.
And he gets caught. So I'll just read you the blurb on it. And then I'll tell you what I've scored it. Kaz Brecker and his crew pulled off a heist so daring even they didn't think they'd survive. But instead of divvying up a fat reward, they're fighting for their lives. Double-crossed and badly weakened, the crew is low on resources, allies and hope. As old rivals and new enemies descend on Ketterdam to root out the secrets of Jurda Perem, a dangerous substance capable of altering the very fabric of Grisham magic, Kaz's cunning and his team's fragile loyalties are tested to their limit. A war will be waged within the city's dark and twisting streets, a battle for revenge and redemption that will decide the future of magic and the fate of the world. This is book 2. And it's Six of Crows duology, so it's just the two books.
Yeah.
So you'd need to read
Six of Crows.
Six of Crows for this book to actually make sense. I only gave it 3.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is that because you haven't read the first one, or just you?
Partly because, yes, probably, which is unfair, but mostly to do with the fact that every time you read somebody's name, you had to look at the glossary to know you were pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
So you had to keep looking at the glossary, because unless you're able to look at the glossary first, and then when you come across each name, you go, oh, I know who that person is.
Yeah.
It's annoying. basically.
It would be. It
But it
distracts
is,
me as well.
yeah, it's a good book, and you know, you've got part 5, Kings and Queens. It goes up to, there is an epilogue. Action and Echo, part 6. Matthias, that's chapter 33. There's over 500 pages, to be honest. Now, normally, I mean, she's done other books. It's the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and you've got the Six of Crows duology, and you've got the King of Scars duology, and stuff like that.
It's all part of the Wishaverse, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's all intriguing. It's just, you know,
I'd
having
like to
to
read
look
that,
at the
I think.
names.
I
Yeah.
think I'd like to listen to that as an audio.
Yes, I think that'll probably.
Be
This is
better.
one of those books where listening to it's better because that person's pronouncing
And I've
everything.
been told
So
how
when
to
you
pronounce
get
it.
the book,
Yeah.
it'd be easier. You wouldn't have to look at the glossary.
No.
So it's best maybe to listen to it and read it as you're listening to it. For the story itself, there's 536 pages. Now, the reason I haven't really read much, as I've mentioned before, I have cataracts. And I have very weak muscles in my eyes. So if I'm reading for a certain length of time, it gets very difficult because I get double vision, my eye gets very sore, and it's difficult, basically, even looking at somebody, you know. Try reading. I'm sure some of you out there have read and realised you've got double vision and it's horrible. So I have to keep stopping, which means it's taking me longer to read one book than normal. So where I've normally read 9 books, 8 books, 9 books in a week, and they've been tomes, I can't do that anymore. So it gets a bit difficult because I have to rest.
Well, isn't it?
It is, because I have to keep resting my eyes.
Yeah. Well, you've got to do what you've got to do, Jo. Don't.
Yeah, but it's annoying because, you know, I like to read. I prefer to read than actually listen. Because I like holding the book, and I know.
Well, read and listen at the
Well,
same time.
yeah, but it's not always that easy for me. But yeah, I'll probably have to start doing that, you know. But yeah, it's. I'd say I'll give it a 3 out of 5, mainly because I can't stand the glossary. I do like the way it's written, but I was a bit knocked with the chapter 1, and then you don't hear any more about that guy till sort of later on.
Yeah.
So you sort of think, hang on, where did he come from? And so you sort of backtrack. But if it wasn't for that, she is a really good authoress, and some of you might prefer, you know, the glossary and might like the.
How to pronounce an age.
Yeah, and you might like the delay between finding out about chapter 1 and what happened to him, you know, a bit later. But maybe when things are a bit better, I'll probably read it just for enjoyment.
Yes,
and
not be pressured into.
Yeah.
Can I read this for this date?
Yeah, because we were supposed to be doing this review last week, but neither of us have got very far with our books. So I asked Kim, can we do it this weekend? Because I've hardly read the book. I have to keep putting it down. So it causes delays, doesn't it?
It's okay. To be fair, I was glad you'd asked them that.
Exactly.
I didn't want to message her and go, oh, Jo, I haven't finished reading. I was 3/4 of the way done, and then I started this one, and then I just couldn't finish it. So I was like, just spent that week reading them 17 chapters to be honest. So yeah.
At least you managed to do some. At least you've done one and a half.
And a bit, yeah.
Yes.
So the book I wanted to read, which I should have picked up for 3 months, I actually picked up, didn't enjoy it. Didn't read this one just because I didn't get time to read it. But again, it will go into the pile, back into the pile, ready to read.
Probably
for
November.
future. Probably November, yeah. Definitely not December because we've got.
No, we've got it on.
So the one I did end up reading was because this was calling to me anyway. This is the one I picked up. Wasn't in the TBR pile, but picked up when we went to 66 books.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
And I didn't realise till I was halfway through. This is book 3.
You're starting to do
I know,
me,
but
and
it's-
that is read out of.
But it still made sense to me for part
Exactly,
of the
that's
story.
what I'm saying.
Because it's called the Ben Harper series, and Ben Harper in this is a journalist.
Right.
In the other two, which are actually called 12 Secrets and 11 Liars.
Okay.
This is 10 seconds. And then
They all go well.
Yeah, 12, 11, 10. I don't know if there's going to be a fourth one. But it's actually revolved around the Midlands and London. So basically what happens is Ben Harper is on a meal with his boss, and they write stories for newspapers, magazines and things. And he's having lunch in a riverside restaurant with his boss Madeline Wilson, for her dad's birthday, who's also an acclaimed journalist.
Right.
And on the way home, she asks her driver Dennis to pick her up. The car comes beside her, she gets in and she thinks it's Dennis in the driver's seat, but it's not Dennis. And she gets kidnapped and held captive for 3 days and tortured. And it's all part to do with the story that she wrote, a crime that she wrote a story on years ago, where there was a man called Alan who was killed due to homophobic hate crimes and things like that. Yeah. And the person that killed him, Billy Monroe, he was poisoned and brainwashed by his brother, his stepbrother Dominic Taverner, I think it was, because Billy and his actual brother Travis, who was renamed to Sebastian, were given up for adoption, and then they were sent back to care and given up for adoption again. So he was constantly travelling, constantly in care. But when they were adopted by somebody, they'd already had like one child, but they couldn't have any more, so they wanted more children.
Right.
But they weren't treated nice.
Oh.
And then Billy and Sebastian were like treated as if they were just spare parts, like they were
not worthy.
Yeah, not worthy, and slaves and stuff. And Billy had to have the loft room out of the way of everybody else, and Sebastian or Travis got what he wanted, even though Billy was younger than Travis. It's because throughout the crime he's called Sebastian, but in the italic sections, which are just before the chapters, which is Billy's life reflecting on it. Yeah. You see how that's normal writing? Yeah. So that's Billy's life reflecting on how he was brought up. In those sections, he's looking after his brother. He's going to the shop when it closes and he's giving milk because his mum's prostituting herself and things. So he's treated better than what Dominic is. Yeah. Well, Dominic gets jealous anyway. So as they grow up, Dominic poisons Billy, homophobic views and things like that. So Billy ends up killing somebody, and he goes down for that murder. But the only reason he goes down for that is because it's not a cut and dry case. It's not as easy as that for the police or for journalists. But one of the journalists is fed information, and that's Madeline. Madeline is the one that secures his fate, basically, because of her reporting and the info she's then giving to the police. So when he's now released from prison, he goes after Madeline. He's one of the perpetrators that kidnaps her. I think there's 3 people in total. And when they kidnap her, when they're driving her car, what she thinks Dennis is driving, they're in pig masks. So she can't see who the faces are. But when they kidnap her and hold her captive, she works out who it is because he takes his mask off as well. She recognises the face, even though it's been about 10, 11 years. She recognises who it is and she puts 2 and 2 together. But the reason she's found as well is because the ransom for her is £2 million, and obviously the perpetrator sends messages to her dad saying, if you want her alive, you need to comply, don't get the police involved. So Sam and Ben Harper, who's a journalist, who are the ones in the meal, have to try and work out where she is without getting the police involved. So he puts his job at risk, because when the police find out that all these bodies are turning up dead, they find Dennis's body, but it does take them a while because there's no ID on him. So it takes them a while. Then they realise that Madeline is in serious danger, even though at this point Sam's already received 3 messages, one with a picture of her bruised face and bloody eyes and broken nose and things. That's severe that it turns out she needs reconstructive surgery on that part of her face. When the police find out that Ben's involved and not involving the police, involved in the way of trying to find where she is, not involved in her kidnapping, his job's on the line.
Well, yeah.
Obviously. And then, obviously, when you find out what happens, and she does escape after a while because the person who saves her life is actually Billy's grandfather, but he gets killed saving her life because he's trying to help her. And then the person who's actually holding her hostage runs away, hasn't obviously locked her handcuffs back up, and she walks into a pub saying, "I'm Madeline Wilson, I've been held captive and tortured for 3 days."
Which they would see by her
Yeah,
face.
you can see by her face anyway. Then the police then say, "Okay, we still need you on the case." We say to Ben and Sam, "We still need you on the case, we still need you to help, you've got all these messages, you've got all this info, we need you to work with us." And then it turns out that there's still a crime being committed because the perpetrator has got the £2 million trying to kill somebody else in lieu of Madeline escaping. He's already broken into 5 homes with where the parents are single mothers with children and like beating them, robbing them as well. So it goes deeper than just Madeline, but it's because of the story, the first story, yes. But then Billy, who's the one that is
Billy's the one that was done for the first
yes.
murder. Yeah.
He ends up killed as well.
Yeah.
So it's all quite confusing at the end. There's so many characters though. It doesn't have a glossary because you don't need it.
No,
because
names are very easy.
Yeah,
Billy.
you can follow along. It is easy, but there are so many characters. I was like, who's Nathan? Who's Billy? Who's Dominic? And then when Billy's and Sebastian's names were changed, obviously to Billy and Sebastian, what their real names were, we know that Sebastian's was Travis. And what was Billy's name? I'm just trying to think. It doesn't actually say what his first name is, but I know he's got a brother called Travis, and Travis's name was changed to Sebastian. When it was changed to Sebastian Elliot, he had like a 3-barrel surname. So it's right. Sebastian Elliot blah 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 blah. He then changed it then to Sebastian Taverner or something like that. Because he didn't want to be associated with those parents and that life that he had. So he actually helped the police, so it's really, really good. So I'll just read this out to you. After a 10th birthday celebration in Hadley, journalist Ben Harper watches his boss, Madeline, get into a car that's come to collect her. He walked home, never imagining that by the next morning Madeline will be missing. To find Madeline, Ben will have to return to the now infamous murder case that made her journalism career over a decade ago, a case which, Ben quickly discovers, was never as simple as it seemed. But time is of the essence, and soon it's not just Madeline's life on the line. Right. It's really good. So if this is really good, which I do give it 4.5 stars out of 5, I can't wait to read book 1 and book 2. The reason I give it 4.5 stars out of 5 is because the beginning of this is a follow-on from the second book and the first book. So I just wish I'd had that little bit more background, but again, that's my own fault for not reading the back or for not reading the inside. So, or they should have just give you a snippet of, if you haven't read this, this is what happens, and then go into the story. But yeah,
sort of a recap. Yeah,
so 4.5 out of 5 for that one for me, and that's my book's done.
Yeah, that's it then. Well, because September is the birthday of
Dame Agatha Christie.
Yeah, we're going to be reading Agatha Christie books this month.
Or detective or murder mysteries.
Yeah, detective and murder mysteries, but we will also this month we're going to see a play, Agatha Christie play. On the...
It's not The Secret Adversary, is it? What's it called?
No, it's The Jewellery Trouble. We're going to see this play, and neither of us can remember the name of it. It's on the 20th. if anybody's in Sutton Coldfield area, it's at the Sutton Arts Theatre.
Yeah.
So go along, and we're going to be on the jury.
Yeah, so we get to go on the stage.
So we'll be on the jury.
In the boxes.
And we'll have to sit there, we'll be given pens and pads, and we'll have to look professional. And like we know what we're doing.
So we can't wait for that. That's on the 20th, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
I can't wait. So yes.
Yeah, so that helps with the start of it, and we'll tell you about that when we come to the review.
We'll try and get some pictures, obviously not of the play, but
which
of
we won't be allowed
us
to
there.
do.
Yeah, we'll try and vlog that day and give you an insight. But September we usually always read Agatha Christie or Murder Mystery. Now there are a few Agatha Christie, even though we've read a lot, there are some that we haven't read. Even when she wrote under a different name, we haven't read them, but they're meant to be quite good anyway. So even if you don't read Agatha Christie for the whole month, there'll be
reading one or two
detective
but there will
books,
be mostly
murder
detective
mysteries,
books and murder mystery books that we're going to be reading this month.
So it'll be all good, and then we're not going to have any mystery picks for this month, even though there's a bag full of TBR there. We have got it down because I came bringing 2 or 3 bags with me, and now I've got one. Because in that one I used to put in the other bag that's there, I used to put the mysteries in there so I couldn't see them. But now we've got it down to about 12 books, so we'll be continuing that after September and possibly October, because we don't know if we're doing any Halloween reads yet as well.
And October's a bit of a because I'm Captain Space touring again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to quite a few. I'm going to 5 of their gigs, but I think I'm going to 4 in October of their gigs. But I'm also going to see the Australian Pink Floyd, who are really, really good. I've seen them before, they're brilliant. And I'm going to see Quill, which is a band that has the lovely Bev Bevan, the drummer that used to be in The Move, ELO, Black Sabbath, and his lovely wife, Joy Strachan-Brain, and the other members of the band who are brilliant. They're all very talented, and that's going to be a great night. And I'm going to see Justin Hayward as well. So I'm doing a tour in October. So I will be taking books with me, because I know we'll be staying overnight, and I'm going to Pamela's again. Hello, Pamela. Going to hers on the 8th of October. It's her birthday then as well. So I'm going to them. I'm coming back on the 20th with the cat, because we'll have done a few gigs, and then we're doing gigs after that time, either just staying in Birmingham or whatever. So yeah.
Oh, good.
So October
is a busy month.
It's going to be a busy month for me, yes. But I will do my best to read quite a bit.
Okay, no worries.
Which I will be able to read quite a bit.
Okay.
In between the gigs.
Okay, no problem.
So, unless, if you want to tell us what books you want us to read,
yeah,
try reading this or try reading that, which we will do, we're quite happy to. Let us know if any questions you want to ask. If there's anything, anywhere you suggest that we go to view that's to do with a book, then we will do, if possible. Yeah. I deal with the Facebook page, and Kim deals with all the others.
Yeah. No worries.
Which is the Instagram,
email,
YouTube. Yeah, is down to Kim. I only just did the Facebook one, which is just as well really, because I haven't got a computer.
No.
And if I have, it wouldn't be that. I can't get that on. It's for courses and stuff, so I couldn't use it for that. So we will see you next time. Take care, have a great September, and keep reading.
Keep reading, have a good autumn.
Yeah.
Bye.